The storyteller to the audience, I think that relationship has changed too with digital media, and one of the things that I'm excited about with digital media for storytelling is that it wants us to be more personal. And I've thought for a long time that journalists need to come out from behind their bylines and actually like be somebody and let us know who they are. This is a really incredible story done at the Seattle Times by a sports columnist and reporter named Jerry Brewer. He met a high school coach who had 8 children, a devout Catholic family, and the 11-year-old daughter in the family had a very severe childhood cancer. They had treated it and treated it and treated it, and then it was in remission, and then it came back. Jerry got really interested in this story. He did your classic kind of heart-tugging piece, but he wanted to continue to follow the family. We had a discussion about it, and they called me in to consult on it, and I sat Jerry down, I asked him a bunch of questions, and one of the things he got to was that this family had reached the end of its rope with this little girl in terms of treatment, and they were going to make a decision to stop treatment and put her life in the hands of God, and they truly believed that God would save her life. They truly believed it. Jerry comes from a religious background. His grandfather was a Baptist preacher. I asked Jerry how he felt about this story. He did the reporter thing and said, well, that's got nothing to do with anything. And I said, oh, I think it has a lot to do with a lot. And what are you going to do about the faith question in this story? Will this family let you follow their faith? And if this little girl dies, will they talk to you about whether God let them down? And how do you feel about that as somebody who grew up in faith and still has it? So he wrestled with it a lot, and the solution was to follow that story, but Jerry wrote his own story and blogged it while he was doing it. He told people about his own background, how he felt about this little girl and this family's journey. His stories were done traditionally, but there was always that part where I could access that I would see, well, where's Jerry going with this story? This is Gloria. The public ended up loving it. There was an international prayer circle built up around this little girl. The response to this story was incredible, and it taught, I think, us 2 things. One, you walk towards the very thing we've never walked towards, which are those icky things we don't want to talk about, like faith, right? And the reporter needs to be right there in the middle when it's appropriate. There are times to stand on the side, and there are times to be right there and declare where you are and how you see this. At the very end of this story, Jerry wrote a gorgeous, gorgeous piece about how, why won't that? Here we go. About how he felt about this, and I just want to share a little bit of it with you. Gloria Strauss asked all the questions the first time we met. She was the journalist. Photographer Steve Ringman and I were the subjects, and she needed to know one main thing. Do you like write about and take pictures of stars? Gloria asked. No, we explained, not exactly. I've always wanted to be a star. 5 months later, after writing about Gloria's death Friday, I checked my emails. You made her a star, one reader wrote. No, she was already a star. Guess that made us her paparazzi. Story goes on, and he talks about how the family exposed themselves, how they were giving him access to their stories, and how it also affected him. It's impossible to walk with someone, especially a child battling illness, and remain unmoved. I've seen reporters cry at their desks while writing stories. I've seen reporters disinterested, furious, shocked. Every emotion you can imagine. Our job is not to suspend our feelings. Our job is to suppress our emotions in order to tell unbiased series. But in this series, the veil of detachment was removed. I allowed myself to be just a normal person telling a story.